That's right. I heard you. You know why? Because you know what my boys are called? Can I tell you? I have 2 sons. My oldest son, when he played ball, you know what his name was? I heard it. Who said it? Dill Pickle. Dill Pickle. Do you know what my other son's name was when he Nope. Sweet Pickle. Dill Pickle and Sweet Pickle. Anyway, I'm a teacher, and I'm here to learn from you guys today to see what kinds of great things you're writing. So there may be some times that I actually tell you some stuff, and I'm going to be dropping and listening as you have some conversations, okay? I wanted you to know who I was. All right.
All right, guys, so this morning we are going to be working with nonfiction text to categorize our ideas when we do writing together. So what that's going to look like is we're going to look at my thinking as I am coming up with some ideas. So I just want you to really pay attention to what I'm talking about and what I'm writing on the board, because you're going to practice it with your partner on your paper that I've given you. So, did you guys know that when a nonfiction author tries to generate ideas, they don't always stay with the first idea? Did you guys know that? No, you didn't know that? Well, how many of you guys, like last week or last time we were doing our writing, wanted to change your idea? Yeah, so that happens all the time. So that's something that nonfiction writers do, and we're going to try that out today. So what they start off with doing is they think of a topic that they know a lot about, and they list things about it. And we've tried that a lot so far with our writing. So I have come up with a topic for us to think about today. So we've got a strategy that we're going to use. Our strategy is about creating categories. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to think of an idea. And like I said, I've already got our idea picked out, so we're going to practice with my idea first. And when we think about our idea, we need to think about the purpose for our writing. Why are we writing this piece? And the 2 things that we want to think about is, are we here to share facts or advice, and advice? So we'll think about that and we'll talk about it. The second thing we'll do is we're going to list our categories that we could teach other people about. Notice how we're teaching other people about it. It's not a story writing, it's not opinion writing. We're teaching people with this writing. And then we're just going to repeat the process. Okay, so my topic that I've come up with is beaches. We've talked about beaches before in the class. We've talked about lots of things with beaches. So I'm going to think of some things about beaches. In my head, I'm going to picture like I'm at the beach. I'm going to pretend I'm there. I'm going to just visualize the whole thing. And my first idea, one thing that I can teach other people about with beaches is I can talk about where beaches are. If I look on a map, I could point out where beaches are. So I'm going to write that down. This is like me writing in my writer's notebook. So where beaches are found. Notice how I'm not having to write in a complete sentence because these are my thoughts. I'm just putting it down on the paper. And the second thing I thought about is I thought about why it's important to take care of beaches. So I'm going to write that down in my list. Why it's important to take care of beaches.
I'll pause you 1 moment. Is that okay?
Yes.
Stop. What is she doing so far? Stop and think about it. What is she doing? What is she doing? What is she doing?
She's writing down what she thinks.
About what?
The beach.
About the beach. That's right. Pretty simple, isn't it? Okay. Keep watching.
And then while I was thinking about the last time I went to the beach and how I love to play in the waves. So I was thinking about how much fun the beach was. So it was lots of fun when I went to the beach. So I'm going to look at my ideas and I'm going to categorize them, because remember that's all right. What we're talking about is categorizing them. And I'm going to categorize them based on if they're a fact or if they're advice. So I'm going to take green for fact. And I'm going to write it on this side. And I'm going to take purple for advice, so I'm going to write it on this side. And And so I'm going to read my first idea, and it says, where beaches are found. I think that would be a fact, so I'm going to take my green marker, and I'm going to just draw my line to my fact and point an arrow to it.
Tell me why you think that's a fact.
I think that's a fact because I can use a map to find where beaches are at. And I know that maps are in nonfiction text a lot of times, so it's probably a fact.
They're not gonna move, are they?
They're not going to move that, no. And the next thing, why it's important to take care of beaches. Well, I know that there's a lot of things going on with beaches and with littering and things like that, and I know it's important, and so I know that's a fact to take care of beaches. So I'm going to draw an arrow to fact. But the fact that the beaches are fun, I think that they're fun, but I don't know that other people always think that beaches are fun. They might like to go other places. So I'm going to draw that line over to advice. So I've done the first step, which was to think about the purpose. I've listed the categories. I've categorized them. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat the process. So, and I should have left a little bit more room, but I didn't. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to repeat the process. So, this is like my same piece of paper, and I'm going to write at the top beaches again because that's my idea. And I'm going to think about it again. I'm going to close my eyes again, and I'm going to really think about the beaches and things I can tell about the beaches. So, the first thing I thought about is all the animals that live in the beaches. So, why beaches are important for animals. Just why they're important in general. Yes, honey. That's an R. That's Miss McIntosh. Not being very neat with her writing. Trevor?
Why is it important to take care of beaches?
Why I made that a fact, why it's important to take care of beaches, because I know that there's a lot of things, and I know Denham is someone who brings this up a lot, why it's important to not litter at beaches, and why it's important to not litter in general, so I know it's important to take care of beaches because there's other animals that live there, and that kind of goes along with this idea that I have over here, that there's animals that live there, and if we don't take care of our beaches, if we leave trash all around, animals can eat that trash and it can be dangerous for them. So I know that that's really important, and so I wanted to list that out. Okay? Any other questions? Yeah?
Like, when you talk about why you take care of beaches, like, some people that live on the beach, they really don't care about the beach. They don't care about how animals and all of other things in the ocean.
Yeah.
They don't know that all animals are dying every single day.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. Very good. And then why beaches are important, and again for animals especially. And I'm just going to put one more idea, and I'm going to. Okay, now remember, this is my thinking right now. Okay? Yeah, exactly. You're going to do this in just a minute, but this is my thinking, what I think is important. Okay? And so my other is, idea is when I go to the beach, I love the food that's there because it's seafood, so that's what I'm going to put. Seafood is awesome. And again, I am going, remember this is my thinking, hands down. I'm going to again put facts on one side and advice on the other. And I'm going to look at my things that I wrote down, my ideas that I wrote down, I'm going to put them where they go. So why beaches are important for animals. Well, we've already talked about it's important to keep the beaches clean so that animals don't eat the trash that we leave. So I think that that's going to be a fact. So I'm going to draw my line to fact. But then when I'm thinking about it again, seafood is awesome. Well, I definitely think seafood's awesome. And I love seafood, but some people don't. So that would probably be more advice. Okay? Any questions about why I wrote certain things down or my thought process for things. Trevor?
Seafood is like a fact for me. It's like maybe not for others.
It's a fact for me. So it's not really a fact, it's more, what is that word called? It's not a fact. I think this. Grayson, what is that called? It's my opinion. Come on in, guys, and sit down at your seats. So what you are going to do, yes, go ahead.
So very quickly, what did she do? She did this. What does it say? Think about the purpose for writing this, right? So as she thinks about it, and she writes it, she's also thinking whether it's a what? Is it a fact or is it a advice? And so she's listing those things she can write about, right? So she's using this strategy, and then after she's done that, she made another addition to her list, correct? Yeah, awesome job. Good, thank you.
Okay, so I've already told you guys who you're working with your partner, and Kevin and Aubrey will give you a piece of paper and y'all work together. And Brian, you're gonna work with Tatiana. And so what I want you to do is I want you to try the same type of writing with your partner. Now, you're going to be talking with your partner and you're going to be sharing ideas. You're going to come up with your own topic. Remember, mine is beaches. And you're going to list out the things that you think you could teach other people about. So pick one person to write and you both come up with those ideas.
Doesn't mean you have to write about this later. You're just practicing,
Yeah.
okay?
This is just practice. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead and start with your thinking and your talking. Games? What do you guys think? Cameron says games. Okay. Games is what Cameron said. Do you think we should Yeah, we can do that. Do you think we can teach other people about games? Okay, so start your writing. After talking, you're going to write your topic and come up with ideas of things that you can talk about with your teacher. Okay, with your ideas about games. Are you picking up? Good. We'll talk about
What's your topic gonna be? You gotta quit worrying about that. What's your topic? Are you
Okay, so what do you know? Alright, I'm gonna pause you for just a moment. Can I have everybody's attention for just a moment? Here's what I need. I need you to have at least 2 things written down about your topic in the next 3 to 4 minutes. 2 things. At least 2 things. Alright? Go back to writing.
We're all gonna write fast.
Well, you don't even. Don't stop it if you can write more. Keep writing until I tell you to stop. But you gotta have at least 2 when I tell you to stop. All right, come back to me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All eyes right here. It's important. Listen up. You should have at least 2 things written down. So what is the next part of the strategy that we need to practice right now? What's the next part? Whether it's what? Whether it's a fact or advice. So make sure you write on there. And the next thing I want you to do, don't write any more statements, but I want you and your partner to decide and draw arrows. Is your sentence a fact? Draw an arrow to the fact. Is your sentence advice? Draw an arrow to advice. Go. Talk about it. Go. Already done it? Good.
So you just saying that is there in that last 25 together?
It's a game of
Raise your hand if your group has done what I've asked them to do. Raise your hand. If your group has not finished with your fact and advice on at least 2 of them, then do it quickly. But you gotta have at least 2 that shows me a fact, whether it's a fact or whether it's advice. The rest of you can stop, put your pencils down. Okay? Would you collect the ones at your table? Make sure your names are on the top of them, the 2 people who worked on them. Write your names on the top. At this table, I would like my little friends here. Is your name Harmony? Would you collect them for me, Harmony? And what's your name? Will you collect them? And will you collect them for your table right quick? Okay? Get your names on them quickly. Now, people who are collecting the papers, as soon as you have all the people at your table's papers, hand them to your teacher. Trent, I need the others too, so don't forget it. Y'all pay attention to your teacher.
It's on my desk, my stuff.
Come back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Eyes on me. Thank you so very much. I want to tell you something I noticed. Okay? I noticed that you had a little bit of a problem, some of you, getting started. But once you got started, you were able to come up with some categories, were you not? Huh? Did you have conversation about advice and facts? Yes. What I want to tell you is this. It will get better and easier for you the more you do these things. And you're going to be awesome writers by the end of this year. Okay? All right, your teacher has something else to say.
All right, guys, I want you all to think of at least one thing that you learned while you were doing that writing with your partner. Everyone get that idea in their mind. Everyone think of one thing that you learned. Give me a thumbs up when you have your one thing. One thing that you learned. Everyone has one thing that they learned. Give me a thumbs up when you have one thing that you learned. And what I want you to do is I want you to turn to your partner that you worked with and share with them that one thing that you learned. Share with them that one thing that you learned.
All right.
All right, you guys did such a great job working today. What I want you to do is get out the things that you were working on before we came in here. So if you were working on that passage, I saw a lot of people working on that passage. So get out what you were working on. You guys did a great job.